Happy Friday, my people, and welcome to Stoniecast number 91 and season 3, episode 24 of Thoughts and Hunches, Making Money in Bunches and Sucker Punches. It's your boy Stony back for the 91st time, and I'd like to welcome all of my fellow cheats, lowlifes, hoodlums, hustlers, scumbags, altar boys with unhealthy relationships with their priests, foul-mouthed raging alcoholics with abusive language, fienders, degenerates, and Italians. I mean, come on, let's face it. If you're Italian, you probably check all those boxes. If you're new to the show, you probably fit into one of those categories also. So welcome, and make sure to hit the subscribe button right down here in the lower right-hand corner so you can be notified actually right down here in the lower right-hand corner. So that way you can get notified every single time I put out a new video. Usually around this time on Friday evening, unless I tell you otherwise. To spread the word, it's very simple. Just tell other hoodlums and gangsters to go to YouTube and enter hashtag STONIE'S winners. All one word. That's not S-T-O-N-E-Y, but it's S-T-O-N-I-E' winners. STONIE'S winners. That'll take you directly to my page. Now, before we get to the picks, I have a couple of thoughts. I'll start with the chump of the week, and this goes to Stephen Curry. Yeah, I said chump of the week, and that was nice. I could have called him a hypocritical douchebag, but I was being nice. I know it's not kosher to talk badly about him, because nobody does, which is why the only news reports this week from the punk-ass media has been about his basketball and not the real story. The story is that Curry and his family, they live in Atherton, which, if you don't know about Silicon Valley in California real estate, is the most expensive real estate in the United States. I'm talking about Atherton, not necessarily Silicon Valley, but Silicon Valley is no joke either, but Atherton is it. If you got it like that and you live in the Bay Area, that's where you're living. You're living in Atherton. His mansion is worth $30 million. The town of Atherton is building townhouses now in a lot adjacent to the Curry mega mansion, and Curry's pissed off. In a letter that he wrote to the Atherton City Council, he explained how he moved there to keep his family safe, and now it won't be safe. Really? Townhouses? They're not talking about moving all the homeless from San Francisco to Atherton. It's townhouses. Have any of you listening or watching right now ever been near or lived in a townhouse? Since when are they a beacon for crime? What I'm now seeing that the media isn't reporting is a superstar athlete that voted for Joe Biden and preaches about social justice, but now is worried because townhouses are going to affect him. Or are they? I don't think so. This is an incredibly popular athlete from a biracial background with a wife who cried racism when the security guards in Cleveland didn't recognize her because she wasn't wearing her credentials to get down to the floor seats in the NBA Finals. She dropped the infamous line, "Don't you know who I am?" to the white security guard, and when he said no, she called racism. Curry wants to be a social justice warrior, but doesn't want townhouses built next to his place? Come on, Steph. You're better than this. I know you are. But right now, you're a colossal freaking hypocrite for this one. And the other chumps are ESPN, TNT, Stephen A. Smith, Kendrick Perkins, Kornheiser, Wilbon, and the list goes on and on about the networks and all the talking head blowhards that are the first ones to point the finger at players' selfishness, like Kyrie Irving tonight, but now they're silent on this point. Why? Secondly, props go out to Tom Brady. He retired this week, and being such a polarizing figure, reaction has been mixed this week. An absolutely awesome career has had its issues, right? But his will to win is right up there with Tiger, Federer, Kobe, among his generation. Love him or hate him, his greatness can't be doubted. What I will doubt is the ones that are calling his career the greatest in all of sports. Whoa, slow your rolls, people. Let me ask you this. If you had one game to win for your entire family's survival, and you could only pick one quarterback playing in today's NFL with today's rules, all right? Let me rephrase that. If you had to pick one quarterback in the history of the NFL to play with today's rules in their primes, I'll even throw that out there. With today's rules, who would you pick? Yeah, I thought so. Brady's on the short list, but he's not the first choice going away. And comparing him to other athletes from other sports just isn't fair to Brady or the others. It's just lazy. Say what you want about the brand, TB12 or the divorce or whatever it is, but just sit back and appreciate the fact that one player played in 10 Super Bowls. Stop and let that soak in. That same player won 7 Super Bowls. Stop and let that soak in. That same player won the Super Bowl MVP 5 times. And now he's gone. For good this time. Happy trails, Tom, and enjoy your retirement. You'll be missed. As for the picks last week, I turned in another top-notch week. And this one was one of the best weeks this season. Right? Forget about Sunday. I went 2-2 in the NFL. All right? Missed both sides. But I hit both unders, right? So our week was made on Saturday. I got off to a red-hot start and never let my foot off the gas. Sure, I missed the Degenerate Special, but I hit my lock of the week easily, making the Degenerate Special a moot point. At the end of the day, I gave you 21 winners and 11 losses, with one push along the way. Good for 65%. What? Let me repeat that. Good for 65%. I challenge any so-called expert to give out 33 plays for free on a single weekend and hit at that high of a percentage. Anyone. Here are the numbers. NCAA basketball, 21 wins, 11 losses, 1 push last week. And for the season, NCAA basketball, 203 wins, 123 losses, 6 pushes, good for 62.27%. Yep. It don't get any better than that. And NFL playoffs went 2-2, 13-11 in the playoffs, 54.17%. It's where we've been hovering all season, so no surprise. So for the week, 23 wins, 13 losses, 1 push, 63.89%. Yeah. And overall, all the picks that I've given you this season, this is episode 21. Is that what I said? Hang on. Let me double check. This is episode 24. So I've given you 23 episodes now, and I've given you 531 winners, 362 losses, and 11 pushes. That's good for 59.46%. You're welcome. Once again. Let me remind you that all of these picks are 100% free from me to you. And we've done some serious bankroll building this season. So now is the time to continue. With Super Bowl next week, the podcast next Friday will feature the side, the total, the money line, and enough prop bets to keep you all busy on Super Sunday, because that's all anybody cares about, the NFL, right? My numbers, my viewing numbers go down this time of year because there's only one football game left, and nobody tunes in to hear what I have to say about college basketball when they should, because I'm killing it right now. And if you're not watching this to make money on Saturdays, then you're just missing out because you don't know what the hell's going on. All right? Speaking of busy college hoops, we got another big one tomorrow. But before we have a trifecta of Mountain West games tonight, so they're starting soon, so let's get to it. All times are Eastern. Tonight, 9 p.m., I'm going to roll with San Diego State at home, -5 versus Boise State. The Aztecs have too much depth and balance for the Broncos to deal with. At 11 p.m., I like UNLV at home, -9.5 versus slumping Fresno State at the Thomas and Mack Center. Also at 11 p.m. to close out tonight, give me Air Force plus 11.5 at Nevada. The Academy have a knack for covering big numbers, so we're going to take them and all them points at the Lawler Event Center. Moving on to tomorrow. Let's get started at noon Eastern in Landover. And I'll take Georgetown at home plus 14.5 versus Connecticut. Yeah, the Hoyas are shitty, but they've been playing hard lately and getting some covers. At noon, I'm going to ride with Kansas minus 1.5 at Iowa State. UK, ooh, God, man, major faux pas. I'm sorry, Jayhawk Nation. Let me start that over. At noon, Kansas minus 1.5 versus Iowa State. KU squeaked by the Cyclones 3 weeks ago at Allen Fieldhouse, but they're going to roll to an easy one in Ames. At noon, give me Michigan State plus 4.5 at Rutgers. Also at noon, I'm on Virginia plus 1 at Virginia Tech in the Battle of the Commonwealth State. 1 Eastern, I'll take red hot Baylor at home minus 8 versus Texas Tech, who just doesn't have the horses. Baylor started out slow. They're getting hot at the right time, leading into March. 1 p.m., I'm going to roll with Georgia Tech plus 15.5 at North Carolina State. 2 Eastern, College of Charleston minus 8 at Delaware as the Cougars get back on track after a disappointing loss. 2 p.m., give me Butler on the road plus 15.5 at Marquette. Also at 2 Eastern in Stillwater, I'll roll with TCU plus 3 at Oklahoma State. 2 p.m. in Knoxville, I'll take yet another road dog in Auburn plus 9.5 at Tennessee. 2:30 p.m., give me Iowa at home in Iowa City minus 3 versus Illinois. At 3 Eastern, Clemson stays hot at home in Littlejohn minus 1 versus Miami, the Canes. Where was I? Hold on. No, I'm good. I'm looking good. At 3:30, I like South Carolina at home plus 12 versus Arkansas. 4 Eastern, give me Stony Brook plus 14.5 at Hofstra because the Seawolves have been good to us for 3 straight weeks. At 4 p.m. in the game of the day, sorry, got to be careful there. In the game of the day, I like Indiana at home plus 1.5 versus top-ranked Purdue in Bloomington. As Jackson Davis gets the best of Edey in a matchup of All-Americans. This is going to be a good one, so make sure you tune into that one. 4 p.m., we got another good one in the Little Apple, and I'm all over Kansas State at home, minus 1 versus Texas. 4 p.m. in Baton Rouge, Alabama, minus 12.5 at LSU is borderline lock status. But at 5 p.m. Eastern, in my lock of the day, I'm on Syracuse, minus 2.5 at Boston College. Quick sidebar. If you haven't seen Judah Mintz for Syracuse play yet, you should do so. Here's a guaranteed NBA star, and you'd be watching him at only 19 right now. He's learning more and more every single time he steps on the floor. One of the best combo guards in the nation. Mintz can do it all. Remember the name and remember where you heard it. Add it to the names that I've hit on in the past, like Carmelo, Rondo, Ja, and the list goes on. At 5 p.m., I like Xavier at home, minus 9.5 to roll over St. John's. 6:30, give me Duke at home in Cameron Indoor, minus 3 over North Carolina. All of a sudden, this ain't such a great rivalry that's being hyped up by ESPN anymore when both teams stink. Is it? Yeah, I didn't think so. 7:30, UCLA makes it 20 straight home wins, the longest in the nation, minus 7.5 versus Washington State at Pauley Pavilion. Also at 7:30 Eastern, I'm going to roll with Villanova, plus 10 at Creighton. Yeah, Nova hasn't been themselves all season long, but I like the points here. 8 p.m., I like St. Bonaventure at home, plus 4.5 versus Dayton. Lock of the day, number 2, right there, St. Bonnie, plus 4.5. 8 p.m., I like West Virginia at home in Morgantown, minus 6.5 versus Oklahoma. At 8:30, give me Florida, plus 5 at Kentucky. Staying in the SEC at 8:30 tomorrow night. I'm on Georgia plus 11 at Texas A&M. 9 Eastern, I like BYU at home in Provo, minus 13.5 versus Pacific. Excuse me. Oh my God, I've got COVID. Oh, Jesus. At 9:30 in Pac-12, I like Oregon State plus 19.5 at Arizona. Big, easy win for the Cats in Tucson, but not by 20. Gotta get a little swig of water here, excuse me. Look at that. Georgia Tech. For my visit to McCamish Pavilion. Okay? Yeah. Anyway. Okay. Staying in the Pac-12. At 9:30, I like USC at home in the Galen Center to roll over Washington. Trojans minus 10. 10 p.m., I like Arizona State at home in a pick'em versus Oregon. 10 p.m. in the WCC, I like Santa Clara plus 3 at San Francisco as the Broncos just keep on covering for us. At 10, I'm on Wyoming plus 3 at San Diego State. At San Jose State, scratch that. At 10 p.m., give me Wyoming plus 3.5 at San Jose State. And to close out the night, our Degenerate special is a hell of a matchup in the WCC that nobody on the East Coast cares about, but they should, because these are the two top 20 teams battling in primetime at McKeon Pavilion in Moraga. I'm going to take St. Mary's minus 4.5 versus Gonzaga, as the Zags are a rare underdog in conference, but that's for good reason. Randy Bennett is a freaking stud, and he's a top 10 coach in college basketball, and nobody talks about how good he is. So is Mark Few. But Randy Bennett just every year in that small, tiny school in Moraga. You ever seen Moraga? Yeah. Oh, you just missed it. That's how quick you drive through Moraga. So that closes out an incredibly busy Saturday, right? In which I just dropped 36 picks for that ass. Yep, 3 tonight and 33 tomorrow. And as usual, all free for no charge. So you're welcome. I mean, what can I say? With this many plays, 19 wins are just fine. But in order to make those bankrolls fatter, we got to go big, hit them early, and hit them hard. So just remember that if you want to win big, you got to bet big. You can't go broke taking a profit. Scared money don't make money. For me, the action is the juice. There's money on the streets that can't be ignored. And finally, good luck to you.